My name is Lindsay Kepka, and this is my Module 1 introduction. So, just a few personal demographics about me. I've spent the last 2 years as a business teacher at Midtown Center, which is an alternative school in Hutchinson, Kansas. We currently serve children grades 9 through 12. I received my Bachelor of Arts in Religion and my Master of Business Administration from Kansas Wesleyan. And then I graduated from the Transition to Teach program at Fort Hays in May with my Master of Science in Education. All of my previous professional experience was in philanthropy and finance, and I'm actually going to be returning back to that industry here in July and taking a kind of a break from teaching, surprisingly. So just a little bit more about me and kind of why I want to do what I do. I am mother to Owen, who is 7, and Elizabeth, who's 4. They're kind of my entire world. I'm obsessed with true crime documentaries, and I'm really starting to be fascinated with bird watching like a very old woman. And this will be in July when I take this position. It will be the first time in 10 years I will be working only one job. So I'm really excited about that. So just to get into my critical analysis of the articles from this module regarding mission, vision, and core values. So just some critical analysis that I thought was really interesting regarding vision statements. So vision statements should demonstrate a school's ethos. Employees can look to it for their long-term direction, where they hope to be in the future. It should show a clear picture of the future so you can decide exactly how you're going to get there as an organization. It should be surrounded by the SMART framework and created with all the collaborating stakeholders, whether it be community members, teachers, employees, doesn't matter, it should be everybody. And it needs to take a holistic approach to the environment. There was a source that said academic achievement, mental health, and a sense of belonging correlate with high achievement when they're included in the mission or vision statement. And they must be marketed effectively, because that's how potential parents, families, students will find your school and decide if that is a place that they would like to be. So as I'm moving more towards the mission statements, one quote that really stuck out to me was, "The school is the car, the vision is the GPS, and the mission is the engine that gets you there." So it should show the active steps being taken towards reaching your vision and your future goals. It should be drafted after the vision is adopted and after the mission statement is finished. A school improvement plan could be created and implemented at that time as well. There are public declarations of major commitments, so they should be taken seriously. They need to hold weight because they really are the way that organizations show their word. They should be fully integrated into the school and need to also be included in the curriculum, which was something I hadn't really thought about prior to reading this material. They should also provide a shared focus for stakeholders, some shared language, and specific action items that the whole team can focus on. Then moving towards core values. So one thing that they talked about a lot in one of the sources was coherent design, and it should be the first thing parents look for. As a parent, I hadn't really thought of this, and as a teacher, I hadn't either. But day-to-day experiences should never contradict the school's values. They should feel that from the time they walk in the door till the time they go home. Mission and vision statements should be genuine, reliable depictions of the school's core values, and parents selecting a school for their child can determine if the school's values align with their own based upon those statements. So just a little bit more analysis on the promotion and of success and well-being for both the students and the adults. When a mission and vision is created, stakeholders should research inclusive schools and also visit one at least once. Mission statements should guide the whole community's growth, And these statements can't be superficial and outdated. They have to be genuine and authentic in their goals and objectives for the good of all, meaning not just the students, but also the teachers, the community, the stakeholders, everybody. Parties with different interests should all be represented on the development team, including community members, students, parents, teachers, administrators, everybody. So then when it was talking about knowledge, skills, and commitments needed to do the leading, the designing, and the implementing of these statements, the things that most stuck out to me were that admin must make decisions that align with the mission and vision, and it's really their responsibility to keep the schools focused on the purpose. To encourage collaboration, they need to remove barriers like fear of change when maybe employees are resistant to that or resistant to adopting a new mission because that's something that they hadn't done before. Leaders must also build a collaborative team of diverse stakeholders and keep them on task with defined sets of expectations and timelines. So when we were talking about the process to maintain continuous improvement, one thing for the use of data that stuck out to me is present data has to be presented to the mission and vision team. I'm so sorry, I've got a little bit of a cold. And they have to base this off of that. So whatever the current climate looks like, that's what the mission and vision should be established based on. I'm so sorry. The mission and vision statements that are not based on that current relevant data quickly become out of date. So in technology, I thought of how in order to be accessible for stakeholders, for feedback, and to be maybe changed over time, it needs to be marketed effectively and revisited often, and that was a link to technology I thought of. For equity, missions and visions should be built around inclusion, opportunity, and challenge. Many sources echoed that certain themes like opportunity and challenge really, once they're included in the mission and vision of an organization, that they correlate with high achievement. For diversity, most mission and vision themes surround academic achievement, good mental health, a sense of belonging. Everyone needs to go to school and feel like they belong there, they're safe, they're healthy. Digital citizenship, high-performing schools had common themes of those, again, challenge, academic success, citizenship, empowerment, partnership, social development. So after studying schools in Texas, they realized that some of those highest performing schools did have common themes. For community, auxiliary stakeholders like not just teachers, but community members, staff, students, their families should be involved in the formation of the mission. It should not just be left up to teachers and administrators. In order for coherent design to be achieved, a whole community must embody the vision. They all have to buy in and believe in what they're selling, so to speak. So, for my critical reflection, again, I'm so sorry for my sniffles. Current statements of our district. Since our school was so new, we hadn't really established or adopted any of these officially yet, so I went with our district ones. Our mission is educating, empowering, and preparing every student for life. The vision was today's students prepared for tomorrow's world, and our core values were honor, persistence, compassion, scholarship, and excellence. So, when I was reflecting on this, I feel like they're current. They were established in 2019 by a large sampling of community members, board members, staff, teachers, and they're relevant. The vision shows forward thinking, really preparing 21st century learners, and the mission statement gives a concise goal of what steps to take to get there. The statement also touches on a lot of the best practices that were outlined in the articles from this module. Core values root the day-to-day operations in concrete ethical standards, which I like a lot. For strengths, I thought they were concise, relevant. They use successful themes. They have buy-in from the community. They're marketed really well. But for weaknesses, I thought perhaps the vision is a little too vague. And one of the things, just from firsthand being a teacher in the district, I felt as though the the staff doesn't embody it fully or really have much familiarity of it. It's kind of one of those things that hangs on the wall, but maybe we don't have quite the usage of it and the application in day-to-day operations that we should. So that would be one weakness I would see. So how do these mission and vision statements and set of values support the educational success of well-being of each student and adult? So I feel like one thing that's really great about them, especially as we move to individualized plans of study, are that the statements are specific in nature, but they respect the unique post-secondary goals of each student. So, excuse me, instead of defining exactly what they will be doing after school, it's saying that we're preparing them for their next step. The core values especially really help build a school culture when implemented where every person is treated with dignity, respect, and equity. Excuse me. So who led and who was involved with the collaborative design, and what would I have done differently? So according to sources at my school, the process was much like what was recommended in the text. It started with input from a lot of stakeholders. Initially was driven by the superintendent and district leadership, and then the final fine-tuning happened by the school board. I would have kept the process much the same, but what I would have changed is the integration afterward. I would have tried to integrate these statements more in the classroom and tried to really increase buy-in amongst district staff to create a cohesive learning experience. That is one piece that I felt as though was missing. So what were the processes used at your school to collaboratively lead, design, and implement the statements? So while these statements were designed collaboratively and marketed well, I do feel as though, like what I said on the last slide, they weren't implemented in the same manner. They're not included in instruction in any meaningful way, and they aren't referenced in any ways with students and staff on a regular basis. So for the next one, how does your school support continuous improvement that reflects a core set of values and priorities that include the following? I feel as though this process is really completely missing. Our district doesn't seem really to continuously improve, have like a school improvement plan necessarily, or even revisit the mission to improve upon that. Unless there's a new leader at the helm, like a superintendent. So if we want the district's mission and vision and values to be relevant, we have to come up with a way to revisit it on a regular basis with really fresh perspectives, data, and trends. But we also need to have the improvement plan team that the text was talking about established so that we can have some accountability for those changes. I think that's a huge piece that's missing. So how have the mission and vision statements and core values influenced continuous improvement? I don't see much influence on continuous improvement, mostly because no one has really been familiar with this statement or applied it in everyday practice, and that is where the train really went off the track for me. So what changes I would propose that our administration find a way to engage teachers, continue to get buy-in from them, and make that school improvement plan and the team to ensure that the mission and the vision and the values are creating real change and a real experience for the students. I believe that type of enforcement would have the cultural shift and the actual cohesive experience that this module's text was referencing. So for correlation, this module showed me how, as a district leader in the future possibly, to collaboratively create a mission and vision statement. It showed me the process and the steps as to how to do that, but I also learned more about the importance of the statements and the direct impact they have on the student experience, and how when they're implemented effectively, they can impact countless values: digital citizenship, diversity, equity, just a lot of really meaningful things that make the student experience worthwhile. For relevance, while I was while like I mentioned, while I'll be leaving education later this month, I understand the impact that a mission and vision will have on my future employers as well, and I see that mirrored in the organization where I will be